You see, if we didn't have this bush there, it would not have had this difficulty. This bush is stopping me from having any kind of momentum. I'm a little bit stuck. I'm going to try to get out. Basically from here, this is where the car becomes interesting. Wheel in the back is turning. If you look in the mirror, I'm going to try to get out by myself.
I was not expecting that.
Its capabilities are just, it's beyond mission control.
Wow.
I mean, mission control is pretty damn good, but yeah, ridiculous.
I put the diff locks. If I go really slow, it will come out. And it came out, you see, without any effort. Very important to go slowly, very important to stay calm, very important to just feel confident with yourself.
Hi Nathalie, thank you for joining today.
Hello,
Today we are diving into some valuable off-road driving lessons based on Nathalie's years of experience out in the desert. What are the first steps to take before setting out for an off-road adventure?
The first thing would be to maybe check the weather forecast to be sure that they have time ahead of them. That would be the first thing. Then the second thing, of course, is make sure the car is in good condition. Who are they going there with? If they know the place already, or if it's a new place. If it's a new place, you need to anticipate, prepare a lot. There's a lot of preparation in a desert outing. It's not something you just decide, okay, in 30 minutes I go to the desert. No. You have to have a lot of preparation. Of course, you can use your GPS. So what you would need is to, if you know the place, then you know exactly, for example, for me, this tower is giving me a very big landmark. So I will know how to get out and how to move around here. But if I don't have that, I need to prepare. Or trust the people I go with. I know that the people I go with are prepared or have prepared the outing.
That recovery was very smooth. Why do you think the Grenadier is impressive on the set?
Because Grenadier was built for that. It has a very strong ladder frame chassis. It has a good clearance. It has high entry and exit angle, front and back, that we have seen before when we were doing the recovery. It has very good low-end torque.
Low-end torque,
Which avoids this reeving, which I really appreciate. You don't have to over-reeve to get above the dune. It has the standard suspensions are adapted. You can improve them, but they are adapted. You see, it's all made, it's from the factory. I haven't made any modification. So then it has these diff locks. It has the stability control. This is the off-road, the stability control, which removes the ESP and removes all the electronics, so that you don't, when you're going down the dune, you will not be surprised.
Can you share how your journey with off-road driving began and share a bit about the SUVs you have driven over the years?
So basically I bought my first 4x4 in 2012. It was a Nissan Patrol. It was a manual gear Nissan Patrol Super Safari. And because at that time I really wanted to experience the driving, I didn't like being a passenger. So I started this way. Then I sold it in 2018. And then I waited 2021 to buy a Ram, and I went to pick up. And then in 2024, I decided to get this Grenadier.
Hi Marco, thank you for joining.
Hello.
You are very passionate about desert driving. Could you share a bit about yourself and some of your experiences in the field?
Yes, of course. I've been in the UAE for 22 years, and I've been in the desert for 21 years and a half every winter at least. Before I used to drive in Panama as well, and in a complete different environment. And when I arrived here, I started to look for someone who could actually teach me the basics of sand driving in the desert, and which I found. And from there, I just built up my experience, and now I'm happy to share the experience with whoever is interested.
So you're teaching off-road?
One of the many things, yes, I'm teaching off-road, and I'm guiding as well residents in the desert of Liwa. That's where we often go during the weekends.
Why is tire pressure so important in sand and how low should you go?
Well, it's a very difficult question, and I would say that it's a little bit like the COVID syndrome. The less people they know about it, the more they talk about it. It is important to understand what does the tire on road and what do you need for off-road. Off-road, you have a soft ground, the sand. The hotter the sand is, the softer it's going to be. Obviously, the softer it's going to be, the more deflation you need to be, because by the fact of deflating, you're going to enlarge and lengthen and soften the contact with the sand. That won't provide you from getting stuck in the sand, but that will take you there. The difference between inflated tires and deflated tires is huge on the soft sand. So you don't want to force on the to put some strength on the transmission. So deflating is key. Now, deflating how much? It's not me. It's BF Goodrich. BF Goodrich is a tire brand, and they equip 80% of the rally cars in the world. They don't recommend to go below 15 psi or 1 bar on road tires. Now, if you have off-road tires, you can deflate a little bit more, but in your driving, you've got to understand and keep in mind that your tires are deflating. That means that you have to make your tires work forwardly and as less as possible laterally. If you deflate too much and make your tires work laterally, you do what might happen is a pop-up, meaning that the air inside the tire will just get out, and you will have a complete flat tire, which is a little bit of a bummer to put it back. Okay, so when you deflate no less than 15 psi, and I've been doing that with off-road tires, and I'm still alive, and everything went fine. You just need to learn how to drive with that kind of pressure. If you are stranded in a bowl with a very soft sand and so on and so forth, you can deflate to 12, to 10 in order to get out. That will give you some extra traction. After that, I will strongly suggest to put the pressure up back to 15 psi, and then after that you go. An important fact as well, when you don't drive for a while, the pressure, the air inside your tire will lower the temperature. Then the pressure will become a little bit less. So you might lose 1, 2, 3, or 4 psi, depending on how hot the air in the tire was while you were driving on the hot sand. So when you start again after a barbecue or in the morning of a camping, just check and keep in mind that you mustn't do any sudden turn, because then you will pop the tire.
What are the essential features a four-wheel drive vehicle needs for off-road driving?
Well, there's many, but the main ones would be essentially to have a four-wheel drive capability with a low gear, meaning a transfer case. The right tires. Right tires are essential to have a ratio of the tires above 60%. So the ratio is actually the height between the rim and the ground. Then obviously there will be attack and exit angles. Ground clearance would be essential as well, and obviously a good pilot to know how to use it.
It's important to go as a group for serious off-roading, correct?
Yeah, this is why Marco is here today. I was not going to do this by alone. So for me, I trust him very much. I
Okay.
know that nothing will go wrong if he's around, because he will always know how to anticipate.
Okay.
The more you are, the more you will be able to manage the situation without getting exhaustion also.
Yeah.
And so then you have to, yeah. So it's a very good team building also. It's a very good way also to discover the people you are going with, your friends. Maybe sometimes your friends will not be your friends anymore after a desert outing, because it can put you under a lot of pressure.
Yeah.
But it's important to know who you go with and to prepare for sure, and never go alone. If you go alone, then at least assess where you are going and avoid soft sand. Stay on tracks, not too far from the road. Always have your cables, your batteries, everything, so that your phone is charged.
Yes.
Just have water in your car, food.
How do you navigate in remote sandy areas without getting lost?
Well, as I said, if you know the place, you will. I'm not like a Bedouin. I cannot say, "Oh, this dune there is taking me there." But in a way, in some places, we know because we have aerial masts, like Tisalat, or here we have this. So you have landmarks. Then you have to more or less know your cardinal points. That's important, because if you know where the sun is, well, at least you know more or less. It's important because most of the dunes that we cross, they are built north-south, and the northern south is the hardest side, and the southern south is the softer side. So when you look at more or less where the sun is, this will help you also to know which way to navigate through the dunes, because if you attack it through the south, you will put yourself in a lot of stress. If you attack it through the northern side, you will put yourself into less stress.
Okay.
So but not all the deserts have their dunes north-south. Like in Alain, for example, we have the star dunes.
Okay.
The star dunes, they have very special winds over there. They have winds coming from everywhere. So the dunes are in the shape of a star because they are shaped by all the different winds. So this is what I mean about knowing your terrain. And if you don't know the terrain, well, go slowly and don't try to overdo in a terrain you are not comfortable.
Okay.
Go like. The point of off-roading is to enjoy the nature, is to enjoy what is around you. It's not about pushing the engine to the top of the dune.
Okay.
So the point number one is to be in a magnificent landscape, which is maybe a challenge for you because you don't know it. So just go step by step, go. And for example, you see, for me, when I started having this deflation, I thought, okay, now it's time to get out of the desert, find out what's wrong with the tire, and that's it. I'm not going to continue to push up the dunes, get more inside the desert. Maybe I'm going to have mechanical or a tire issue, and then it's going to become a nightmare because we'll be too far.
Yeah.
So I would say at one point, also be happy with what you've done, where you are, and stop and go and come back.
What safety precautions should drivers take in a hot desert-like environments?
So I would say so be careful of the timings you will be out. So if you are out at midday, of course, and you get a flat tire at that time, first of all, before you do anything, you assess, you look for some shade, you make sure you have water, of course, and from that you try to anticipate. So maybe it's going to take you 4 hours to get out. So if it's going to take you 4 hours, you'll have to pace yourself. You'll have to make sure you don't eat too much food, so you're not too thirsty, things like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then, so basically you need to have water, and so you need to make sure that your car is not going to overheat. In the hot weather, it's making sure your car is not going to overheat. Some cars have the tendency to overheat, so we know it. I will not mention the brands, but with these cars, I would avoid going in extreme heat, because even in the winter, these cars overheat.
Oh, is that?
Yeah.
Okay.
And so, if it's extremely hot and you are always pushing, like revving with your engine, obviously you will have more chances to overheat. You need to have proper insurance also. Very important to have a proper insurance.
It's like a specific insurance for off-roading,
off-road.
or when
It's
you
off-road.
take it, you need to mention that you do off-road.
You need to mention off-road, and you will notice a lot of them, they only insure you 5 meters inside the road.
Oh, okay.
So you need to have the proper insurance.
Have you been to like really interior?
Yeah. Yeah, we have been to, we go often into the Liwa Desert,
Okay.
or we go in the Dafra area, Al-Dafra area. So this is close to Medinat Zayed and all that area. And Saudi Arabia in what we call here the lakes, which are in the south of the Rub al-Khali, close to the Omani border. And in that place, there was no petrol station for hundreds of kilometers,
Okay.
and no signal. So for that, we had a Turaya phone, a satellite phone.
Okay.
So this was just in case, and we also had the InReach on our GPS, and we could send a message to the family just to say, this is where we are now.
This is an inbuilt function?
In a Garmin GPS. It's Garmin that does that.
Okay.
And so they can locate you, and they can locate you, like, let's say if for 20, so we had this kind of message with the family that every day, we were only in for 3 days over there, but every day at 7 p.m. we would send the location, because the camp would be settled and we would be there. We would be there for the night.
Okay.
So that was in reach.
What's the best way to maintain traction when driving on soft sand?
It's to have some momentum. And for that, momentum means to have the proper speed, so not too much speed, but the right speed. And I have to quote Marco for that, because everybody quotes Marco for that. He says you have to drive fast as necessary and as slow as possible. Meaning, if you are too slow, you saw before, if you are going too slow, you'll get stuck and then you have to get your momentum back. If you are too fast, then you're going to fly over the dune and you're going to maybe have some mechanical issues. So you have to know exactly what is the right speed for your car in the terrain where it is. And for that, it's only practice. It's like everything. Like, you can only become good at what you are if you practice. There's nothing that we learn in a second. We need to take the time, we need to stay humble,
Yes.
put the ego in the glove box.
Yeah, yes.
You know?
Yeah, true. Yes.
Leave the ego behind.
Really.
Sometimes it's itching, but okay. Let the elements be above you, and learn, and you always learn, because you always make mistakes.
Yeah. That's
never
about
ending
almost
story.
everything in life, right?
It's
Like,
everything in
good
life.
things takes time. Can you share a memorable off-roading moment or challenge you faced in sand?
And at one point, I was in the Liwa Desert with my mother, and I almost flipped, and my mom, she went out of the car, and then she said, I'm walking back to Dubai. And that was like 300 kilometers away. That was a funny one when she said that. But then I got stuck here one time at night in a bowl, and I almost fell in the bowl, and then I couldn't get out, and didn't have the proper lighting. I couldn't see where I was, and after that I went out of the bowl and I sold my Nissan Patrol, and I said that's it, and that's it. I'm never driving again in the desert. I'm incapable. I'm just I have no clue what I'm doing. That's it. I give up. And that was 2018 or 19, something like that. And then I started again. You see. After that, I realized that I should not try to drive the way people want me to drive or the way I think I should drive. I should drive my own way. And if I manage to drive my own way, then I will manage to go everywhere. And that's what I learned, and that's what I'm learning with this one very much.
What's the most common mistake you see beginner off-roaders make?
First one, they don't deflate.
They don't deflate?
No. And a lot of people are very afraid of deflating to 1 bar. So they will deflate, they will think, okay, the car is usually 40, 41 or 35. So they will deflate to 25. And you can get really stuck with 25.
Okay.
And so, yeah, deflate is the first one.
1 bar is 15 psi. Right?
Yeah, 15 psi, yeah. The second one, there's this, as I told you, this counterintuitive position, which is putting your tires like this against, and it's very tempting. I almost did it before.
Okay.
While we were together, because you have the impression that you are going to, if you force towards the dune, the car is going to follow you, where you should, as I told you, you should never force, you should go down the slope.
Okay.
This is the two common errors from the beginner, I would say. And then the fact that you think that when you are stuck, if you accelerate, you are going to get unstuck. And this is another very big mistake, because if you are stuck and you don't control the speed of your wheels and you don't go super slow, you will dig and dig and dig.
What's your favorite thing about off-roading in sand especially?
It's the fact that you drive, you know where you go, but you don't really know what the terrain is going to be. So there's the challenge. It's exciting to the approach, and but for me, yeah, it's always what I love about it is being in a very beautiful landscape.
Okay.
Amazing place.
Yeah.
For me, this is my balance, definitely. And this is what I like about being in the desert, is that it pushes you to listen back to your feelings, to your inner voice, to your gut feeling, to your, let some other senses wake up, which most of the time in modern life, we put them to sleep. We are a little bit like robots, and we don't switch on all this sensory around us. And this is what I like about desert, is it pushes you to function a little bit differently than in the city.
Are there any misconceptions people have about driving off-road?
I would say several things. It's easy, and it's a men thing. These are the two misconceptions, I would say.
Okay.
It's not difficult, but again, it requires some skills, and it requires some training, and it requires some knowledge, and it requires time to master that. So that's like anything. You know, you don't start chopping your carrots like a chef in a second. You have to learn that, otherwise you'll cut your hand.
Yeah.
Same.
Yeah.
And then for women, a lot of women are very intimidated by driving in the sand, because it's we get the impression that it has to go with a lot of adrenaline, but adrenaline we can still have, but a lot of power, And like anything, it's also, you can also go through the dunes with soft, feminine power in a different way.
Yeah. What are the tools to be carried when we go for the desert?
You don't need to have everything, because as long as the whole group has all the equipment. But basically, you need to have the tool to inflate and deflate.
Yeah.
You need to have a rope. You need to have something to a compressor. You need to have the shackle also to attach. That's very important to have. You need to have a shovel. You can have so much. You can really have so much, but you need to have a jack, and you need to have a piece of wood to stabilize the jack on the piece of wood.
What advice would you give to someone going off-road for the first time? And would you recommend any specific training or resources for beginners?
First advice would be, like my father used to tell me, if you don't know, don't do, and if you want to know, if you want to do, learn. So the best thing is actually to learn how to drive, understand your car, and understand your limitation, and just get rid of your ego. That's the number one advice that I would give. Then after that, go with some people you can trust and have a real experience, so you can be guided safely, and know the area where you're going. So you know that you have a track, you can go back and forth on that track. Now, if you leave that track, you know that the adventure will start, and that's up to you and your personality to just say, well, I won't go further than this, because after that I cannot handle. So a lot of people just don't know their limitations and go over what their skill level might be. And in order to answer the second question, you have to understand that the desert is an element, the same way that you've got the sea, the same way that you've got the mountain. You can go anywhere, but that would be at your own risk. Now, if you want to have a safe experience, I would strongly advise to learn before doing it. You can learn with experts, you can learn with friends who have been there many times, but you have to learn before doing it. Otherwise, the pedagogy will be, the break and learn theory. So when you're fed up about braking, you will end up learning, but it's a costly, very costly philosophy. But learning is definitely key, because there are lots of things that are counterintuitive in the driving in the sand.